Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, home of the world champion, Ohio State Buckeyes. Of course, I don't believe any other countries, colleges were allowed. Eligible is the word I was looking for. That was the word I was looking for. We're eligible to join the college football playoff, so we couldn't have. Maybe one day, maybe one day it'll be the all world championship in any number of sports. But not yet. Anyway, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And as I get sorted here, sorted, British now. YouTube.com/CoachSteveMoney is where you are watching this. And for my financial content, you just scroll past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists, and you'll see the Ramsey Show Aftershow playlist. Today is number 566 of those. And answering your financial questions. That's the 8 p.m. Eastern Time stream, and that happens on days that I cannot do an after show in the mornings. It all depends on the work schedule. And of course, there's 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in the music playlist, such as How to Do the Baby Steps Right, Step 1. Oh, and I forgot. Oh, step 1, 1K emergency fund. You don't save more to add to that sum. You don't use that to pay off debt. And don't even think about higher steps. I believe I sing a little bit higher than that. I sing along with the karaoke, but obviously singing not my regular job, but do listen to those songs. You might get a kick out of them if you like the Ramsey advice. You might like those songs about them. And market report. Doop doop doo doo. Oh, let's see what it is. Trump's tariffs. What now with the tariffs? Deadline nears. Whoa. Whoa. That's just too much stuff. Where is that? Oh, yeah. And I believe that is, let's go ahead and do the article now then. Stock market today from the Yahoo Finance. The market falls as Trump amps up tariff threats with deadline looming. And we can stop that video and confirm that country-specific duties will kick in on August 1st, ramping up trade uncertainty as the end to the tariff pause looms. And it had said something like, the link had said something like, yeah, BRICS. So just because they got together and formed a little union doesn't mean they get a pass on tariffs. So that's not how it works. It's not like a workers union here where you get all the benefits from that. The anti-American policies of BRICS, how would that be? Oh, that any country aligning himself. I see. Okay, because BRICS have anti-American policies supposedly. I won't claim to know anything about that. Maybe I'll look into that. Probably not, but maybe I'll look into that to see what it is. But regardless of politics, unless you consider the tariff itself politics, why would they get an exemption? People are nutty. Got questions coming up. What did we want to check? Oh yeah, the rest of the planet. Let's see. Mostly up in Europe. Mostly up in Asia as well. The US dollar above the euro, above the yen, above the British pound, love. above the Canadian dollar rate, and it's a clean sweep for the US dollar. And a bunch of stories now about the weakening US dollar and so forth. But what I find happens is when it's a good market day, the dollar is down. And when it's a bad market day, the US dollar is up. So interesting. That's not 100% the tip, but most of the time that does hold true. ExxonMobil Corporation upon the 7th, what is that, today at 4 p.m. And General Electric on the 17th are the big earnings coming up. And are any of the... Oh, look at that. Amazon is in the green there. Meta is in the green. And of course, Tesla, as usual, the highest up or down, either way, on any given day. And that would be, that's called volatility. That's the most volatile. All right, and so that will do it for the market report. We did the article. What up, Crumb? Deadline was still there last week. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't that and the market decided to go down, it would just be something else. It would just be something else to blame for it. But the tariffs, I guess, are the easiest thing to blame for it. So who knows? But again, there'll be negotiations and stuff like that. It'll get worked out, I'm sure, with compromise. And of course, compromise, as Chief Hopper says from Stranger Things, that's when you're halfway happy, because you don't get everything you want. You only get some of the things you want. And so both sides will get some of what they want and not all of what they want. And so that's compromise. That's how it works. Tricky demand. And that's how it happened before, when the market went down and then they got some agreements in place with some countries, and then the market went back up. So basically, the market is going to overreact to anything on any given day, is how that works. But the beauty of it is that despite that, despite the overreacting on a daily basis, and what you have with your overreacting on a daily basis is your day traders. If everybody was just saving for retirement, you wouldn't see any of that dumb crap happening. It would just be basically more putting money in. And it would be more of a straight line that goes straight up here like that, instead of all the up and down and up and down and up and down and all that. So, but it does always go up to a new high. So that's why we don't have to worry. And especially if you're saving for retirement, you don't have to be concerned with it having a down day, or even if it's a down month, it doesn't matter. All right, so quit being nutty, people. Tricky Dimension 771. Advice, please. Do we need to sell our house? And as I always say, if the person is asking, that means probably yes for you to even consider it. The situation must be bad. Not always, but most of the time. Just like the market being... the dollar being up when the market's down, and vice versa. My husband and I are trying to get on track. On track is advised. We just sat down to do a budget. You can stand up and talk about the budget as well. So you don't need to sit down. People always say that, well, we sat down. And, I mean, you know, theoretically, if you're going to talk about something for a while, generally people do sit down. So I do get that, but just to call it, you know, we sat down. Anyway, just something that bugs me personally. On You Need a Budget by an AB app, and we're consistently behind. Okay, well, that means you're spending too much money. And it might not be spending, you might not have too big a house payment. You might just be buying too much groceries, for example. And so you need to cut that out instead of selling the house. But let's see. We have, let's open the whole thing here. We've had to borrow money from his mom multiple times to get by, and that's a no. You don't do that. You just do without something. Household income last year, and if everything you're buying is 100% necessary, well, it is time to sell the cars and the house. Let's see, and or the house. Household income last year was about 80K net. Okay. He does construction, the security side hustle. Okay, so 80K, and so that means oh, what is that? Let's see. Well, let's get to the see what the mortgage rate is. The mortgage cost per month here. He does construction, security, side hustle. I stay home with our little ones for 3 and 11. We also have 3 teens. My goodness, that's 6 babies. That's where some of the money's going. I walk dogs and pet sit around his schedule. You need to find more things to do around his schedule, probably. I used to bring in $1,000 per month doing that, but lack of childcare makes it challenging when hubby is out of town working. Yeah, that will do it, because you're generally a side hustle isn't gonna pay for childcare, so there's no need for you to do that usually. But try to find something maybe you can do online while the kids are sleeping, that kind of thing. Our house payment is $2,300. Okay. It used to only be $2,100, but increased due to property taxes going up. Sure, it's a 4-bedroom house, middle class neighborhood, B-level schools, nothing fancy. But 5 boys and 1 baby girl, so the bedrooms are needed. All right. And on 80K, I think that is too much house, and I get it. You got a lot of kids. And only 4, so that's 6. That's 6 kids and 4 bedrooms. So, I mean, kids can share. Kids can share bedrooms. His regular job, construction, that's about $1,200 per week after insurance and retirement taxes. The side hustle grosses $3,500 per week, but it's not regular. He does sense of it, traveling out of the country 3 to 6 weeks at a time, a couple of times per year. Our debt, $26,000 on our minivan. Sell it. It's worth about the same, which is why we haven't sold it, because we don't have the money for a cash van. You don't have to get a van necessarily. People always think that, oh, well, we have to get a vehicle where we can have all of the kids in it all the same time. Sometimes that doesn't have to happen. Sometimes one parent can take somebody. And I get how that would be super convenient to have that. But how about selling it and you buy a much, much cheaper van? The payment is $700. I mean, you got to get out of this. Yeah, $700 per month. So the problem was that you turned to debt to do this in the first place. And so you have to fix it. $11,000 total credit card debt, $5,000 owed to his mom, paused. $2,500 total in phone on our Verizon plan built into the bill. Yeah, that was dumb as crap to do. Buy your freaking phones yourselves and use a discount carrier. Visible uses the Verizon towers, so if you like the cell service from the Verizon towers in your area, you can do that and not pay full price for that, and you don't freaking finance the phone through there. Everything you've done is bad. $2,800 on son's braces, and there will be only more of that happening. So you got to get that income up somehow. Electric 185. Could maybe try to do things to cut that down a little bit. Gas, I don't know how much you have to drive. You can try to combine trips, etc., etc. Internet 86. Water. Wait a minute. Yeah, the numbers after it. Water, $200. That's excessive for water. Interesting. I think it is anyway. I would look into that. Make sure you don't have any running toilets and stuff like that. Although I guess with the more people, a lot of flushes, etc., etc., a lot of baths. That's it. So okay. Life insurance 46, auto insurance 410, teen boys. Um, yeah, I mean maybe they don't have to drive though. Um, BJJ Gym, I don't know what that is. Family Gym. Yeah, you're gonna have to cut out the gym for sure. Union dues, can't get out of that. The cell phone plan. Oh, so that's not even the 2500. 2500 just for the phones. That's so dumb. Depending on if hubby is traveling internationally, that's a lot. That's a lot for the plan. See, everything you're doing just adds to the cost. The way you've set up your life here just adds to the cost. iCloud storage, use free storage and delete stuff from there. How about that? Xbox Live, you don't need that. That's not necessary. YouTube Premium, you don't need that. That's not necessary. Paramount, not necessary. Costco, not necessary. You need a budget. Budget is good to make, so I'll let that one go. What are we doing? 2000-ish for groceries in the household. Trying to lower it to 16. Yeah, you got to try to lower it to as low as you can. All of this stuff, you have to lower it. Transportation, 400 to 500. Gas and oil change. Didn't we already have gas? Oh, is that gas for utilities? Heat, I'm guessing. Baby supplies, 1 to 150. Cats. Of course you got cats too. 25 to 50. 200 a year per flea man. See everything. Well, let's have 6 kids and let's have cats and let's do this and let's do that. Even though we have limited money coming in. Healthcare varies, yep, 100. Clothing and shoes, aiming for $50 per month, but completely unrealistic with growing kids and a large family. All right, I have not had 6 kids at any one time, so I can't say how often, but it would seem like every time you turn around, there's going to be clothes that don't fit, and of course, worn out clothes as well, because kids like to wear out clothes by falling and stuff, and then you got a big hole in the knee, etc., etc. Although that could be fashion. School stuff, not currently budgeting. Haircuts, yeah, it's all the stuff like that. Maybe you could cut it. Husband has started cutting, yeah. But there's not gonna be a thing. I don't know. See, the problem is I don't know that you can rent something cheaper than the 2300. I don't know. It doesn't say where in the country they are, so I don't know that you can do that. And if that will be a same for same if it'll have 4 bedrooms. So I don't know. It may just be a situation where you just don't make enough money. Discretionary opinion, discretionary spending. There's none of that. There's no discretionary spending. No, 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 no. All of it's planned. You don't go buy a drink from the gas station. You take it with you from the crib. Oldest teenager is 18. Getting ready to start fire school in the fall. Great. Right, paying $200 towards car insurance, working great. Paying his portion of the phone bill, which $30, great. If we buckle down, can we do this? I don't know. I do not know. So let's see. Let me do the math on the house right quick. Get the old calculator out here, and so. What was that? 80 times 0.25 divided by 12, and that is 1600 would be like 167 $1,667 would be the max. So you are over that. You are over the 25%, of course. But again, I don't know that you make enough money for this. So I don't know. I don't know what you do in this situation. I mean, you can't go back in time and not get cats and not have 6 kids and not finance the phones and all this little stuff that just adds and adds and adds and adds and adds and adds to it. And like the first time you took out debt, if you figure out something else to do, then your life is much better. And of course, you never do debt at all, and then you would keep your life within your finances. So I don't know. I don't know, because you are over on the house, but I don't know what you're going to rent in your area for less than that. So if you can, certainly do that. Rent for as cheap as you can. But again, you're not wanting to not have things for the babies, like most of them having their own, well, I guess not their own bedroom, but the 3 bedrooms. Does the baby girl, just because it's one baby girl, does she get her own? If she's a baby, she doesn't need her own bedroom yet, even though. But yeah, I don't know how you this. I don't have any answers for this, except you got to get the income up and decrease spending at all costs, at everything has to do all costs. And I would venture to say, if a husband is working out of the country sometimes, do you think he's cooking food wherever he is working? No, he's buying takeout. And so that kind of, all that little stuff adds up. And so, unfortunately, I don't have an answer here, except for you got to get income up. This is not sustainable at all. That is a rough one. Where's the X? There it is. Alrighty. So the advice, please, you got to get the income up, because you can't go back in time and not do this stuff. Figure out something you can do while the kids are asleep, and you stay up longer and do, transcription on the computer or something. Got to get that up. Trick Dimension needs to trim budget big time, big time, big time, big time. Because whatever kind of way to do things the most expensively, that's how you did it. Like, especially the phone, by financing the phone through Verizon. Not smart. Lane Kill, what are the benefits of paying off your mortgage early? Because then it will be paid off, and then you don't have a mortgage payment or a rent payment in retirement. I've heard that the benefits of paying off mortgage can be profound, life-changing. Yes, because that also puts you on, as far as baby steps, that also puts you on baby step 6, 7, build wealth and give. I hear people celebrating the accomplishment. However, I don't often see actual examples of how paying off a mortgage has led to such a benefit, besides just feeling better. Well, and also, how you go on, you write the check for that mortgage payment every month, or you go online and you pay that. If you pay it off early, you don't have to do that anymore, and you can use that for other things, such as building wealth or going on vacation or whatever. Why don't you understand that? It doesn't seem like it's too hard to understand to me. Do you have a story of a way in which paying off your mortgage truly changed your life? Yeah, because I didn't have to pay it anymore. I didn't have to pay that anymore. Has anyone had a great story with a low interest rate mortgage? I'm looking for motivation. A great story with a low, and you want to debt leverage by keeping the low interest rate happening, and invest that money or something like that. And that is not the Ramsey advice. That's called debt leveraging. And I don't know if you know anything about Mr. Ramsey, but he is the anti-debt guy and also the anti-debt leveraging guy. And so he's not keeping around the mortgage. And if you wanted to know if that is the advice, it says right there on step 6, pay off your home early. So what is the question? Either follow his advice or not. Again, you don't have to make it some big thing. Well, what are the benefits of blah, 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 blah? You're dumb. You're dumb. The benefits of paying off anything are you don't have to pay it off anymore. That you don't have to pay it at all anymore. Why don't you understand that, sir or madam? This is the one where mortgage 2 months ahead. Baby step 6. Okay, so last year, due to taxes and insurance goes up, I elected to make early mortgage payments, principal and interest plus escrow, in hopes of my 2025 payment not going up too much, and partly because I like knowing the bill isn't due. Just pay it off early. Pay extra on it at all times. It doesn't have to be 1 month ahead or 2 months ahead. You just put all extra money to it if you're on step 6. If you're not on step 6, you shouldn't be using that money to pay the mortgage 2 months ahead. But it does say baby step 6 though. So you should be putting all extra money to that. Not just saying, oh, I'll be a month or 2 ahead. People are dumb that way. For instance, I would pay January's bill in November. I understand how to do 2 month math. November, let's see, December, January. Hey, that's 2 months. For instance, my next payment is due on September 1st. Part of me thinks this is dumb because I'm paying interest ahead of time. Yeah, you do principal. What you do is you apply everything to the principal, if your lender allows it. Part of me likes knowing I don't have to worry about it. I think about just making a principal payment and letting it only be 30 days ahead. You do not do that dumb crap. Quit being dumb. Quit trying to... Everybody likes to have their own little ideas of stuff. And I haven't heard one that is a really great idea that goes against the baby steps. Imagine that, though. That is very possible. And I will be thinking about that as we go ahead, because I don't think I've paid that much attention to it before. But because most of the time what it is when people come up with their ideas, it's debt leveraging. It's like not paying something off, and keeping low interest debt around so that you can invest more and make more money that way. That at least works out financially. This crap is just that you like it that way, which is fine. It's your life and your money, but it's dumb. Just make more principal payments, and then that will lower the interest for you. I maintain a 3-month emergency fund. If you have a mortgage, I recommend 6 months, because things happen with houses and you have to fix it. Everything else goes to investments. After investments goes to investments, and after investments to the mortgage. The investment should be 15% only, and then everything else goes to the mortgage. So I'm going to go ahead and bet my life that you're doing it wrong, that you're investing more than 15%. Probably not a good idea to bet my life. I shouldn't say that. But I really don't like having a mortgage. So you pay it off early then, instead of doing more investing, if you are doing it, which I think you are. So maybe being a few months ahead is a compromise. Quit being so cute and precious with your little crap. Everybody wants to do their own little crap. Let's see if the person says... To remove any urgency, I don't wait for the due date for any bills. That's fine. You don't have to. Again, it's not anything special. A lot of people pay stuff like right away, like as soon as they get notified of the next bill, which, you know, normally 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time. That's fine. My preference would be to pay additional towards the principal, and that's what Mr. Ramsey said. It's again, it's in the baby step right here. It doesn't say any bull crap about getting a month or two ahead like your dumb plan. Let's see. Again, it's more psychological. I like seeing the due date moved ahead, but mathematically it doesn't really work in my favor. Well, no crap. If you're going to do some dumbass crap with money, how about we at least make it work out financially? That's dumb. Does it say dumb? This is dumb. Yeah, it's not a compromise. You're paying interest early. Yeah, dumb as crap. Exactly. Anything else from OP? Line the principal is about 25%. Interest is about 25%. Yeah, that's why you're supposed to put more on principal. What don't you understand about that, sir? People are nutty. What YouTube video would you show someone to convince them? If you could only show one YouTube video from Dave Ramsey to convince someone to go all in, which would it be? I would say the debt-free scream. As explained yesterday when I did a preview of this question. Because that basically takes you through the whole thing. It tells you how much they have left over. I mean, how much debt they have, and how long it took them to pay it off. It talks about the psychology of it. They talk about budgeting and stuff, and so that's a good overview of it. Beyond that, you could, I believe, on YouTube there are some live events on the Ramsey Solutions highlights channel. There are live events on there where basically they do the baby steps presentation, and that takes you through all of it as well. So maybe something like that, but for something shorter and not like a long live event, debt-free scream. Trey said, no, only are we human. Oh, not only are we humans generally stupid, we can think ourselves in or out of anything using our stupidity. That is correct. And I get it. I get it. I'm a classic overthinker. But I mean, the stuff that I overthink, like it's not financial. And that is the beauty of it, because you have the Ramsey advice, right? You got the baby steps, and he's been doing it 30 years. And I guess it's me realizing that he's been doing it for 30 years. He has millions of documented success stories following his advice. And so guess what? My dumb ass isn't going to find a way to make his advice better. And so I don't even try to do that. No, I mean, I do overthink about dumb stuff sometimes, and it's just like thought experiments sometimes. Well, what if this, and why does this happen? Because this happens or something, but not with finances. I do it with other things. I'll try to start writing down stuff that I do overthink about, so you guys can understand. But it's like not important stuff, and it's not something. I'm not trying to change the world or anything like that. It's just interesting for me to think about sometimes. And again, I'll try to have some examples. What are some of the most infamous callers to the Ramsey show? Oh, there was that coach, Ramsey certified financial coach, just like myself, that called and was trolling, and he made a video of it as well. He's the one with the 4%. So him, the sell the horse girl, that George told her to sell the horse. What else comes to mind? I won't forget the young lady that was in dire straits with her boyfriend. She called the Ramsey show asking if she could sell her house, and it wasn't so much about that part wasn't necessary. It was her trying to go around her boyfriend who was mistreating her. It's like a way to go around that without saying that, but they did get that out of her. And John wasn't on that day, but he did happen to be in the building, and so they did have her talk to him. And coincidentally, the after show that day, the mod and John both came into my chat. How about that? Haven't been back though since. But so that's why I'll never forget that. But probably those three are the most I guess infamous, or just the most ones I remember the most. Okay, Lobster 2707, mortgage 25 to 28% of income. Yes, and here's where, of course, you're going to get people that you give an inch to, they try to take a mile. So if you say, okay, the mortgage, yeah, it should be 25% or less of your take-home pay, you know, and they say it's 28. So you go fine, and then the next person is going to say, well, mine's 30. That's only a little bit more. Mine's 35. That's only a little bit more. And so it keeps going up and up and up and up, and suddenly you're at 50. So that's why you need to keep it down. Let's see, we're looking to possibly buy a home, but are anxious about the rates and prices of homes. Don't be anxious about it. The rates are high right now, and the prices of homes are high right now. So what you do is you buy a house when you can afford it, not when your goal of buying a house is. You buy it when you can afford it, and regardless of what the market is doing. Because guess what? You can't control the market. You worry about what you control, which is saving the down payment, which will get the mortgage down. Even if you live in a high cost of living area, a huge down payment is the hack for that. And we'll get the mortgage down into where you can afford it, and it will be only 25% of your take-home pay. We were curious what people thought about how much of your income of the mortgage should be. It doesn't matter what people think about it. The financial advisor whose name graces this subreddit has said 25%. So that means you just want to do more, probably. I look in a house that would be about $20-50 a month mortgage. One thoughts if you think that's too high. If it's more than 25, yes. We don't want to be house poor. We currently have a 3.5 rate that is hard to leave, but would love more space. Thank you. Well, again, if you can afford it, then sure. And the 3% isn't the end of the world. The idea is, again, that if I say, okay, well, fine, it's only 3% more, you guys will probably be fine. You don't have, if you know, especially if you don't have any other debt, which you shouldn't be upgrading in house. If you have any other debt, unless you're on step 6, you should not be upgrading house. So that would be a nar on that from Coach Steve Money. But yeah, again, the problem is just you give somebody an inch on the advice, and then they'll wanna just take it higher and make it a even higher percent. And so that's the problem. And I'll tell you the additional 3% is okay, and then you'll all of a sudden the next day on the Zillow or whatever, you'll find something that's 32% and think that's still okay as well. Would love more space, in quotes, of course. Justification station sounds like a want, not a need. That's right. Why are you trying to upgrade if it's not a need? Because people want things, Trey. They want things, and they even want things if they are not in a financial position to buy them, or if they are not on the right baby step to do that as well, which of course, if you are not, you say you don't want to be house poor, let that be your mandate then, and use the 25% rule and be on at least step 6. Don't have to necessarily be on step 7, but you at least have to be paying off. And the idea is that you don't constantly be upgrading house and keep getting a new mortgage. upgrades in houses should be done by using the equity in your house plus extra money that you save. And so there's not a, and maybe a 1-for-1 of the existing mortgage, maybe. And of course, the extra money, instead of saving the extra money, you could just put it towards the house, and then you would get it back once because in case you don't move, then the house is paid off faster. But if you do move, you get it back when you sell the house. Gold stocks or cash. Mr. Ramsey does not advise metals. Mr. Ramsey does not advise single stocks. He does like cash, but it depends on what it's for. Hi, I'm 23. I've completed step 1 and 2 and also 4. So you just did it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I have no children nor mortgage nor any hope of one at the moment. LOL. Why is there no 3? What I'm stuck on is baby step number 3. You shouldn't have done 4 before step 3 is done. I love it how people are nutty. And, people may do this with any advice list like this that they get. They just see what they've done and said, okay, step 1 done, step 2 done, I don't have any debt, I don't have emergency funds, so I'll just skip over that one and not worry about that one right now. And then step 4 is, I'm doing step 4 too, so that's great. Yeah, no, what you do is you stop doing your dumb crap and you do the advice, the steps in order. And that's 1, 2, 3, one at a time without doing any higher steps, which includes 4. So when you start doing the Ramsey advice, when before you were not, you undo the dumb crap that you were doing, such as all your investments. Now, if the money is in a retirement account, you do not tap that to pay off debt or to fund your emergency fund or anything like that. If it's in a brokerage account, guess what? That's gone, and that becomes the 3 to 6 months of expenses. And then after that, then you can start investing again. So you're doing it wrong. What don't you understand about that? It's very simple. What I'm stuck on is baby step number 3. How are you stuck on it? You skipped it. And maybe you skipped it before you knew about the Ramsey advice, but now you know about the Ramsey advice, so now it's time to make it right. I have a little money put aside, but I've never really known where to put it, and the fact I keep changing my mind means it hasn't really been much of a profitable investment. Well, the emergency fund is not an investment. Rachel Cruz says that on the live event. She says, repeat after me, not an investment, so you're thinking about it wrong. It's your emergency fund. If you can make a little bit of it on interest, that's fine, but it's not an investment. Don't think about it that way. I've thought about buying a gold coin. You've also thought about being a dumbass too. And you were doing that apparently, but that may be the most lucrative in the short term. Stocks, but the way the economy is, it feels untrustworthy. See, that's why none of that is advised. And so if you would just Google, what does Dave Ramsey say about this, about step number 3, you would probably come into the knowledge that it is not an investment and you need to stop thinking about it like that. I mean, it is kind of an investment in the way of it pays for a freaking emergency if you have one. And that in case keeping it in cash and waiting for the dip since I'm young. That's not what the emergency fund is not an investment. The emergency fund is not, because guess what? Guess what? If you have your 3 to 6 month emergency fund and the market crashes, you do not buy stocks or mutual funds or anything with the emergency fund. It's not the market crashing is not an emergency. So you're doing it wrong. But again, I thought a dip will come soon for at least the last 5 years. Well, it has. I mean, not as dip as you want it to be, apparently. So where do you put your emergency savings? A lot of people use a high yield savings account. I don't recommend that, though, because that's 1 to 3 days away. And especially if you are the one that is having the emergency, your spouse or kids or whoever else might not know how to get access to that money in a high yield savings account. So you got to think about all that stuff. Emergency. First learn to spell. Hashtag third grade here, 23. But you're thinking about it wrong. Again, it's not an investment. And so, you know, standard 23 financial bro wannabe here. Investing as a stay-at-home mom. Am I being too conservative? Let's see. The problem with investing, and for people that don't know anything about it, if they start a job and they have a 401k, the problem is most 401k plans at brokerages, they just throw you in a freaking target date fund, and that has bonds and other low gaining stuff in it, and so that is too conservative. Also posted in other subreddits, but I'm looking for multiple opinions. Hi everybody, I'm 26, my husband is 28. We currently have about 50K each in our Roth IRA. Great. Or 50K each in our 401ks, all in TDF. I don't know what that is. I'm going to go ahead and guess that's some index fund. Let's see. Oh, no, it's target date funds. That's exactly what it is. Target date funds. So you're not being aggressive enough. Need to be totes aggressive, especially in younger days. You need to be totes aggressive. I get it if you are retiring in 2 or 3 years and you don't want to take the chance that the market will be down in the 2 or 3 years, and right when you need to start taking out some of the money, the market will be down. And at that point, if you want to go more conservative, I wouldn't be mad at you. But I mean, why? You know, if you go for 30 years without being conservative and it's been fine, I would probably go the extra 2 years as well. Let's see. High yield savings account is at 72,000. We have 4K in HSA. Oh well, hey, you can put that emergency fund in the market if there's a dip. No turnover. 70, 30, 31. That is like a turnover in football, his ideas on that. But he's just a kid. He's probably smarter than I was when I was 23. 4K in HSA, health savings account, 5K in 529, 20K in regular brokerage, essentially all in SPY. Okay, we'll see, you wouldn't be doing any of that dumb crap before you pay off the house. So you'd have to be in step 6. Transitioning, stay-at-home mom now. We had a for where? Husband salary around. We'll still work PRN, private registered nurses, RN, but it won't make up a significant portion of our income. Example: if you have debt, you would not be investing either. So for this to happen, and for the regular brokerage stuff, unless you have to do that because you have not hit the 15% of gross income, and you've maxed out your 401k and your Roth IRA, and then that's when you would put some in a regular brokerage. But that is the extension of your retirement account. But you don't do extra instead of paying off the house early, which is what I always worry about on these. This person worries too, but let's see. I still plan on managing our finances. That's just something I spend a lot of time worrying on. Yeah, the target date funds are too conservative, as you said. Thinking of switching our Roth IRA to 100% VT. Buying bonds as we get closer to retirement. Yeah, and that's if you want to be more conservative as you get close to retirement. Like I said, I'm fine. The 401ks, target date funds, no, that was not advised. Also tempted to move some of our high yield savings balance to brokerage and invested in VT. No, you would not do that dumb crap, because again, that I think is your emergency fund, and we do not invest the emergency fund. What the heck is VT? Stock ticker. What is that? Vanguard Total World Stock Index Fund, and index funds are also not aggressive enough. You need to get managed funds that beat the index, and that would be the Ramsey advice. And so what I will tell this young lady, let's see, or am I being way too conservative? Yes, you are. Am I okay to do all VT? No, Mr. Ramsey would not. And how much would seems reasonable to keep in the high yield savings account? If it's your emergency fund, all of it. All of it. And also, unless your house is paid off, you wouldn't have any extra savings in a high yield savings account. You would not do that. That money would be applied to the house. But it doesn't say what baby step. So at this point, we don't know. Oh, let's just check to see if anybody asked. And OP answered. Keep 6 months expenses a high yield and the rest in the Roth. And VT is just fine. No, it's not. It doesn't make enough. Nope. No additional. No additional. But this person did break down the 4-fund portfolio. You can look up and try to mimic. That's right, he does. And that's just what I was going to say. What I would do for somebody that doesn't know anything about the market, apparently, and doesn't know anything about Dave Ramsey advice, I would say go to the YouTube, type in Dave Ramsey investing, and you watch every single video that pops up, except the ones, of course, not made by Ramsey Solutions, because they're just going to say that they think his ideas are stupid, and to do it a different way, do it a financial bro way, for example. But if it's a Ramsey Solutions produced video, watch everything and know it, learn it, live it. And do that instead of asking dumb people on the Reddit. Let's see. Trey says cash equals how you buy things. Stocks equals long-term investment. Buy and forget about it. Gold equals a hobby. Right. A not recommended hobby buy. Of course, Mr. Ramsey. Oh, let's see. Should we put 40K into home unless it's paid off? No. Shoddy replacement, 71. Hi, my husband and I purchased a fixer-upper. The What Would Dave Do? I love it when it's What Would Dave Do? I love that on there. Because you know darn well Mr. Ramsey's not going to do some of the stupid stuff when you guys put the What Would Dave Do flag on it. Tag on it, excuse me, not flag. I guess it could be a flag as well. Husband and I purchased a fixer-upper and been on the Ramsey way for over a year now. Can we do a fixer-upper and be doing it the Ramsey way too? I don't know. So you see, if you got a mortgage on that, you're not doing it the Ramsey way. Paid off all debt and saved up an emergency fund. Okay, if you pay cash for it, knock yourself out. A little backstory. A year ago, we moved into a fixer-upper and been DIYing it till now. Moving at the speed of cash, great. We have a rental house I've had for 7 years that we are selling because it's not paid off. And Dave is right. It's too stressful. Imagine that. Dave is right about some stuff. We've already changed our spending habits by paying off $50,000 in a loans car and are looking to make $70K off the sale of the rental property. Great. We'll keep our emergency fund, $15K to 3 months, but bump it up to $30K, 6 months. Great. We do 15% in retirement accounts. Great. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm 100% disabled veteran, so our one child is able to attend college for free in our state when they graduate. Fabulous. Out of the, not the disabled veteran thing, and thank you for your service, of course, but the fact that college will be free in your state. So guess where dear child is going? In the state. No private school, no out of the state colleges. Out of the 70K, would it be Dave approved to spend 40K fixing up the home? Where's the 70K? Oh, on the 70K. You would not do that until the emergency fund is set up to 6 months. So it's not like, oh, well, we're going to spend the 70K on that and we'll just bump up the emergency fund. If you want to bump up the emergency fund because that's what you think it should be, that's more important than doing your fixer-upper. We still have 30K in emergency and another 15 remaining from the house profit. No, and until your emergency fund is at the right level, which you say you want it to be 6 months, hey, guess what? You should not be investing either. So you're doing it wrong, lady. No debt. Have 6 month. You don't have one. You keep our emergency fund. 15K 3 months, but bump it up to 30K. You have your 6 month already? See, that's not what you said up here. Can you put 40K cash in our home for repairs? If you have the 30K, if you have the 6 month emergency fund, then knock yourself out. That's not what you said here. You said but bump it up, and that doesn't mean you didn't say it doesn't say but bumped it up to 30K. And that's just a waste of what all of this could have said is we have a 6 month emergency fund, and that would have been good. Didn't have to give numbers. Or it could have said we have 30K for 6 month emergency fund, and that would have explained what the situation is, I believe. So people are nutty even with the way they communicate. Promoted. I read one of these the other day, and they caught me a couple times because of it was like a different thing. No, I'm sure the massive saving their thing, stupid money thing, mistakes I see people make. That has been a constant ad on here, and of course it does say promoted. I just need to be better at watching where it says promoted. Tricky Orange, 4526 house, 30% of take home question. That's too much. What about that? Don't you understand? 25% or less. Kind of a dumb question, but when you're calculating mortgage affordability, everyone says it's 30% of take-home pay. Who is everyone? That would not be Mr. Ramsey, would it? And most people go beyond that as well. Go beyond 30, but that is But is that 30K of take-home? Yes. 30K of 30% of take-home pay. It should be 25% of take-home pay, actually. Yes, it is. And how you can remember that is for deciding how much house you can afford. That would be take-home pay because Dave doesn't want you to be house poor. For investing, Dave wants you to have a lot of money in retirement, so that would be based on gross, 15% of gross annual income. I make 6 figures, not bragging, if you say so. But after taxes, insurance, and retirement, my take home is like 60%. That's a lot of taxes, insurance, and retirement. That's a lot, dog. I mean, I guess that's the price for making 6 figures, but how expensive of a house do you want to get? Which means I can only afford a $1,600 a month mortgage. Yeah, my man. Yeah. So guess what? That means you got to put more down, or you just don't buy as expensive of a house. Yes, dude. Including insurance, or should I not be including retirement, which then beefs up my purchasing power by about $250? No, you do include that. It's take home pay. It's what comes home to your pay. So guess what, 6-figure boy, you cannot buy as expensive a house as you want to. Now, you could buy a house that is more expensive than most people would be able to afford, but you can't just buy the one you want. Apparently, you're gonna have to simmer down a little bit on that. Quit being nutty. All right, another after show tomorrow. Let's do a little preview of the question. Would you leave as is or do something different? Currently on baby step 2. We have a HELOC. Well, we'll dive in there. I don't see anything. Additional dwelling unit. There's no. Let's see what is that? I don't know. It doesn't say. I don't see anything that immediately jumps out as bad, but I'm sure I'll find something tomorrow. What counts as income when you're retired? I think anything. I think a little bit. Will it be the money you're withdrawing for the year to live on the 3% rule? Well, if it's from a Roth retirement account, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So is that what you're worried about? So I don't particularly know. Can't dive into that. Budgeting. What's the best way to budget? Bi-weekly. People think anything about the way their life is a problem, and oh well, I can't do it the way normal people do it, so I have to ask about it. Best way to invest $6,000 a year. You apply it to whatever baby step you're on. So instead of jumping right to investment. And of course the baby step could be 7 and you can invest extra when you're on baby step 7, but otherwise you would not. There's baby steps to address. Sorry, cry. There's a lot to do. Saving, how much exactly? Again, there's not for college. If you're talking about college savings, nobody can tell you the amount that you will want to have for college, because nobody knows what it's going to cost when your kid is 18 and going to college, or 17, or 19 if you got to hold them back a year. Who knows? And so we'll take a look at that and go more into that, but you have to figure that out for yourself. Like, you can base it on what your state school is now, and then you can add inflation, etc. We'll get into that. How to budget. That means you put down on paper that you're only going to spend less than you currently spend, and you're going to keep to that and not buy the dumb crap that you're buying now, which necessitates you having a budget. And budgeting lasts forever, even if you make 6 figures, or even if you make way more than that. Actually, the people that make way more money need to do a budget forever, even more so, because when you have that much money, $100 here and there, that can just go, just constantly be going out, and you're not realizing it, and it doesn't really make a dent, but over time that does make a dent. And you don't want to be giving away $100, every hour or something like that, when you don't have to be. Even though you're out earning it, doesn't matter. Alrighty, once again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Used to use a website, got tired of updating it. My schedule changes too much. Email coachstevemoney again at gmail.com if you have any questions about financial coaching, financial stuff in general, or anything on my YouTube channel. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively to CashApp, $ Coach Steve Money. It wasn't taken. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. That same email address. Upcoming streams, we have the Ramsey show, Aftershow show. We have the one that just ended, which is Monday. July 7th is today. Yep. And so there will also be one tomorrow on July 8th, which is Tuesday, and Thursday, which is July 10th. Answering your financial question streams are 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I do those when I cannot do after shows most days. Wednesdays, there's not either. This coming Wednesday isn't either. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this upcoming July 10th, 11th, and 12th. So those will be all 8 p.m. streams. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please, what do? We subscribe and we like and we comment. And much appreciated for all that. Alrighty, thanks a lot. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.